All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Pearl Lemon Podcast. And I'm joined today by a very special guest, Corey Walker. Welcome to the podcast. I am so excited for today's conversation. I know that you are a digital marketing this and an author that, and I'd just love to pass you the microphone right now and let you kind of tell this world, our little circle here, who are you and what do you do?
Sure. Well, my name is Corey Walker. I am the co-author of Instagram for Dummies and Instagram for Business for Dummies. We have several editions out. I'm in the midst of writing the third edition of Instagram for Business for Dummies, and that's going to be coming out in November. But that's kind of my side job. I'm also a digital marketing agency owner in the Sacramento, California area. So I help a lot of small business owners with social media strategy, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, email newsletters,
Oh, wow.
analytics, the works. Just anything to help those small business owners get their leg up on digital marketing, because a lot of them are kind of like, I'm not sure what to do next.
Right.
So I love helping them.
Well, I'm glad and excited to jump in and unpack some of your strategies as well as some of the inside outs, I guess, of this Instagram piece. And I'm sure many of the listeners are also thinking this, like, hey, Corey, how long do you spend on Instagram a day?
It depends on the day. It depends on the day. So I try not to get in like a complete spiral of just being on there all day, because it's so easy. I'll, look up one thing and then how it's just, you go down the rabbit hole. So I try to just stick to maybe an hour. And some of that is checking on, my accounts, making sure that everything got posted for my clients well. But I also try and use, I use later.com to schedule and post things. So that really helps, because then I'll, schedule things out, and I try not to do things, day by day. I try to actually, have a strategy and post things. If I can, for some of my clients, I'll do a full month in advance. Some of them are, 2 weeks. But that really helps a lot with not being on Instagram all the time, because if I'm posting natively, then, that's when you get in those doom scrolling. So having a scheduler really helps cut down that time.
That's awesome. Love later.com, by the way. And a good shout out to them. I used to work for them, by the way. So that's
funny. Okay.
So that aside, what's interesting, or a comment that I was thinking through today that was made to me was, well, Dad, we're not on Facebook, we're on Instagram. In your experience right now, could you maybe break down the audience of where you feel people are and who's on Instagram right now? And what are like some of the features of the actual platform that are pulling people in or pushing people off the side of the
Sure. Instagram is really kind of the best of both worlds of having a really large age range audience. So, when you said, Dad, about the Facebook, Facebook, I have a daughter that's 20 and one that's 16. They wouldn't touch Facebook. So they're not on Facebook. They're on Instagram and they're on TikTok. So what's nice about Instagram is you do have, some of that older audience. So you have people, 40, 50s, 60s. My dad is 83 and he's on Instagram.
Oh, come on. He's got his own profile. Flex it in the profile photo.
No, he's into woodworking. So it's more about that.
Okay.
But yeah, so you've got that older audience, but you still have, the teens, 20s, 30s. So it really covers a wide range. Whereas TikTok is still on the younger range. So what I like about Instagram is that you can hit so many different demographics, and it can be a really good fit for a lot of different audiences, industries. And you might find some audiences like certain things more. So maybe your older audience might be more into just the static posts and carousels and things like that. Whereas the younger audience is just scrolling those reels all day long.
All day long.
All day long, yeah, and participating in some of the lives and things like that.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what I love about Instagram is it can be helpful for so many different audiences.
And with the clients that you're bumping up against right now, whether you're in California or across the US, what do you feel, or maybe you could summarize, like, what are some of the biggest tensions that smaller businesses are facing when it comes to Instagram specifically?
Yeah, I mean, so right now, reels are the number one thing in the algorithm, and so Instagram's really pushing reels, reels, reels. And so one
And
of
could
the
you break
things,
that down in case I didn't know what a reel was? What's a
sure,
reel?
a reel is Instagram's form of short form video. So, TikTok, you have your TikToks, Instagrams, TikTok is reels. Pretty much every platform has some type of short form video that's going to be filmed vertically. So that is what reels are on Instagram, and they're also called reels on Facebook.
Perfect. Just pretend I was a dummy.
Yeah, well, that's what I
See what I did
specialize in.
there?
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, so one of the struggles that small business owners have is getting over that hump of filming video
Right.
because either they're shy about being on camera or they don't really know how the app works. There's a lot of bells and whistles you can add to it. You can do it super simply and just, film yourself or have B-roll on your camera roll and add text to it. But there's a big hurdle there because a lot of people are just really intimidated by the thought of being
Right.
on video. So that's probably the number one thing I get is a lot of small business owners are still in that mindset of, okay, well, I'll just put some stock photos up there with someone pointing at the screen and write about my business and call it a day. And
Yeah.
so I have to politely tell them that doesn't cut it anymore. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I attend a couple of local business clubs here in the Atlanta area, and one of the things that I'm hearing a lot more that people are offering, these videographers or these photographers even sometimes are offering packages where, hey, I will build you out 20 reels for X dollars, super cheap,
Yep.
to just give people content, to your point, to be able to get in the algorithms. And these business owners are like, yes, because I have no idea where to start.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And yeah, for a lot of small business owners, if you could offer a day where you just said, okay, we're going to batch, 10, 20 reels and we're going to take 3 hours and do it. That's a really great way to go because then you can just
Yes.
schedule them all out. And it takes out that headache of, okay, what am I going to say today? Like if you try
Yeah.
and pop on every day and come up with something new, then you're going to have a lot of inconsistency and you're going to have a lot of like a month where you post nothing.
So talk to me about that. You said the word consistency, and I've heard a number of SMEs talking just social recently, where in the past, coming from a corporate background, tone of voice and consistency and brand was very, very important. And when it came to both Facebook, Instagram, and I guess now TikTok may have blown that up a little, but now swinging back towards Instagram, is it important on my actual profile with the grid that goes down? Is consistency and tone of voice still a big part of pulling together a sensational Instagram profile?
Well, so back, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, having that perfect profile where things
Mm.
all kind of matched and looked so cohesive, that is a little bit out the window now. So you don't have to worry about it being perfect in that sense. Um, because of the rise of TikTok and short form video, a lot of people are posting more video and they don't necessarily look as cohesive on
Mm.
your profile. Now you can do a cover image, which which would just be in like one graphic. So your profile still looks kind of nice and pristine.
Right.
I typically don't do that. I just, grab a really good part of it that has my hook and the title, and I just use that. But I think it is important to be consistent in terms of posting regularly.
Mm.
It is nice if you are doing videos, if you try and pick either backgrounds that kind of mesh together, and then the font that you use and the colors for kind of those overlays.
Sure.
That looks nice if you can pick one thing. So even if you're just using a snippet of the video, it all kind of looks like it goes together. So yeah, I would say it's not as important as it used to be to like look perfect, but you should still have some elements so that people recognize it's you as a brand.
Yes, and when you look at a typical Instagram profile, and I'll get to your book here, which maybe builds this out a little bit more. You've got like almost three columns, right? You've got the profile pictures, then you've got the reel section, and then there's another section here on the third that I've never really used. What's that?
That's if someone tags you, it shows
Yes, the tag.
the tagged ones. Yeah.
But my question to you is, and I'm just bringing it up here in front of me, the middle section, that reels section, I've seen people that bring reels forward out of that second section onto the profile, and others that just keep it in the reels section so that their profile is clean. Is there a practice with that? Should I be bringing it to the front to leave pinned, or leave it in the reel section to just be a reel?
I usually put it in the front profile, because people, more than likely, if they're visiting your profile, they're not necessarily going to that Reels tab. They might not even know that that's
a thing.
So I always post all my Reels to my profile on that front page. And then you mentioned pinning. So I'll pin 3 top reels that tell more about me, or about the fact that I wrote a book. So I leave those 3 videos as whatever is most important right now. Like maybe I have something I'm trying to promote. So I put those at the top so that if someone comes to my profile, those are going to be the first 3 things that they see. And I do notice when I look at traffic, that they get the most traffic, those top 3 posts.
Now, I want to get into your book. Thank you, by the way, for all of that great insight. Before we jump into your book, in the book, I'm sure that you've studied both the psychological impact of social media and maybe even some of the ways that the mechanisms have been built, or the platforms have been built to draw us in as users. What would be like one of your top, like around the dinner table at Thanksgiving, Uncle Ned down there goes, "Hey, tell us about what's the brain doing? I hate this stuff." What would be some of maybe the good stuff that you've uncovered, and maybe a couple of the things that like, whoa, that just blew my mind?
Yeah, so some of the good stuff is that you can learn a lot. So most people, when they really know how to use Reels well, they'll use it as a funnel to get you in. So Reels are kind of, I usually say with the funnel, they're at the top and they're going to be shown to the most users and get people's attention. So you want those kind of short, but then they're going to move you down into, you're liking your profile and seeing more of your other posts. So maybe they'll start watching carousels. And carousels, I really feel like those are a great opportunity to teach people.
And what's a carousel for a dummy?
So a carousel is when you have one post, but you can have up to 10 pieces of content on that. So you could
so it's the picture that you swipe, right? That one?
It's the picture that you swipe. So you can have up to 10 of those. And I like people to use them as a tool to either tell a story or 5 tips for X, Y, and Z, and then show, each slide is a different tip.
Right.
And then going through that to learning more about you through stories. And then finally you can, sell more things with lives. Now, that's not exactly what your question was, and I'm getting to that point. So what I like about it is that you can really learn things by, being caught in this bigger web of what you might be somewhat interested in, and then going down that funnel and really learning more about that subject matter and more about that person that might help you. So say you have some kind of health condition, you might watch a reel about the health condition, and then you're like learning more as you go. And then finally, it's a doctor that's posting all this. And then you can
Right.
reach that doctor. So it's putting you in connection with, someone that might specialize in your really weird medical thing. So those are the things that I like. And I like that a business can use it that way. What I don't like is the way that really all social media has gotten us addicted. And so, short form videos, the shorter, the better.
And
So
when you say that, if I could just jump in, when you say short, are you talking like 2 minutes or are you talking like 20 seconds?
I'm talking like 20 seconds or
Yeah. Is
less.
there a specific second amount that you think or works?
So if you're just trying to grab someone's attention so that they'll hopefully go down that funnel, I usually say about 15 seconds or less for that. Now, there are instances where you want to tell a longer story. So, you could do a 90-second reel. And I think they've just said they're coming out with 3-minute reels. I don't have them yet, but that can be, you're doing your attention grabbing. And then for some of the people that are already with you and like that you're going to explain this whole thing, you can do the longer ones.
Got it.
But most people that have success and they get their reels into the explore page, which is
Yes.
a page that explain or that suggests things to people as a
Right.
new.
When I hit the magnifying glass, it's that page that pops up, right?
Right, right. And so that page, when you go there, they're feeding you new content that they
Mhm.
think that you would like. And that's all via the algorithm. So all of that feeds our addiction because this app, based on what you're, swiping on, what you're clicking, what you're commenting on, it takes all that data and it says, ooh, she'd really like this. I'm going to show her more of that and more of that. And then we just go down this rabbit hole, like I was talking about earlier. And it's like, oh, tell me more about that. Tell me more. So that's what I don't like about it, especially for our kids, because they're, spending 2 hours in bed, just, when they could be hanging out with friends or doing
Yeah.
something more productive. And look, I'm as guilty of that myself.
We.
Yeah, so I think it's a hindrance to a lot of our just personal relationships with people, like my husband and I will have the TV on, we're on the couch and we're both on our phones. And, that's
Yeah.
not great.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure you can relate to with your 16-year-old who would say, Mum, Dad, like all of my friends are on here and this is how I keep track. This is how we share stories now. This
Right.
is how we keep attention, how we gain attention,
Yeah.
how we promote our brand, right?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, so let's traverse real quick to your books. I know you're on the third and you've got one about to launch. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, how it's different, and what's the value? Why would I want to go and look for it?
Sure. Well, so the one that I'm working on right now is Instagram for Business for Dummies, and this one's the third edition. And the reason there's two different versions, so just the regular Instagram for Dummies is for anyone that wants to learn how to use the app. It's often, some of the older generation that like having something, printed out that they can go through and refer to as almost like a textbook. So that one is more for anybody that wants to use the app just for
Right.
fun, for anything. The business one is really it goes into a lot more depth of how to use it to market your business. And we also talk about Facebook and Instagram ads and how they work together, how to create an ad within the ads manager. We talk
Mm.
about more marketing strategy, also, where to put your social media icons on other things outside of social media to draw them in.
Mm.
Lots of more tactic based things, but it is also, I mean, it's definitely for someone that's new to Instagram, but there's tactics in there that are for people that are really trying to level up. So you can go through it. Like if you're just starting out on Instagram, you can, read through it and kind of keep building. Or if you're someone that's already been using it fairly successfully, but you want to learn a little bit more of those in-depth things, you can use it that way as well. So
Nice. And is it available on Amazon? And the second part of that question are you part of the For Dummies brand, or have you branded out yourself and just made it For Dummies, for instance?
yes. So it is available on Amazon. The third one, I literally have one chapter left to write. So
No, let's go.
it's not available
Yeah.
yet. That one will be available in, I believe, around like November. And I'm sorry, what was your second part of the question?
Are you part of the mother?
Oh, yes, the dummies. Yes. Yeah. So the publisher for Dummies is Wiley, and they have, I'm sure you've seen, there's For Dummies for everything, playing
Yes.
guitar. I know the author of Pickleball for Dummies. So
Oh
there's
my
a
goodness.
For Dummies book for literally everything. And so you have to be chosen, vetted, all that by Wiley to write the For Dummies book. And you work with the editors so Wiley has a specific like For Dummies team.
Yeah,
And
sure.
so you have to work within that team to get it published. And there's definitely a certain voice and consistency, like we were talking about before, with the Dummies brand. So it has to fit in so that it seems like a Dummies book. So
Well,
yeah, definitely.
congratulations. I mean, that's no
Thank
big
you.
deal there at all. I mean, that's a massive brand to be joining, and to be the SME or subject matter expert on that is fantastic. So well done, Corey.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Okay, last couple of questions, and then I want to turn to a quick little speed round and then get you back on your way to the next agency gig. The final question I had was, when it comes to business now, with the businesses that you're working with, what are you noticing successful people are doing in terms of just their brain, their mindset? Is it a keen business sense? Is it a keen social media sense, which falls under that umbrella? Like, where are some of the areas you're seeing people thrive that you're like, whoa, now I know why you're being super successful?
Yeah, I think they're getting help. So it's
Ooh,
really hard to do it all yourself, and it's hard to be an expert in everything. I work with some realtors, I've worked with lawyers, and social media it's not their main focus.
right.
So it's really helpful for them to have someone to, lead them and guide them. But then a lot of them also find it's helpful to have some sort of assistant that can carry out some of the, administrative tasks
Mm,
or do the scheduling for them, things like that. So that they can really focus on the things that they need to show up for. So whether it's reels and they need to be physically on camera,
yes,
they can do that, but then they can have the help of somebody else, maybe editing the videos,
right.
posting the videos. So I think the people that I really see doing bigger things, they have people behind them to help them.
I love that. Standing around a team and having a successful team. So, Corey, if I wanted to find you, to either ask your advice on something, to buy some of the products, buy your services, like, where do I go?
Sure. Well, you can go to my website, which is themarketingspecialist.com. And yes, I've had that for a very long time because I've had my business for 19 years.
Oh,
So,
wow. Excellent.
yeah. So,
And your Instagram handle's the same then?
no, my Instagram is my name. So it's Corey, Coreyc Walker, Corey C. Walker. And I would love it if people would follow there because I really do put out a lot of Instagram tips and updates that are coming out. So if you want to learn more about Instagram, I'm sharing information about that all the time.
Going to do that right now as soon as we're done.
Okay.
All right, here I got 3 key speed round questions for you. They're kind of yes/no questions that you get to just shout out as best you can. Okay.
Okay.
So, social media guru, who is it for you? Who do you learn the most from?
Brock Johnson is really good.
Okay, Brock Johnson, great. Take notes, people. What about podcast? Favorite podcast outside of this one to listen to?
Ooh, I really, and it's not a business related one. I love watching or listening to Dax Shepard, Armchair Expert. Do you ever listen to
Zach Ship? No, I've never heard of him.
Oh my gosh, you need to listen. He interviews all sorts of celebrities, and then he has
cool.
all these like spin-off podcasts, just super entertaining, interesting, fun. Yeah.
Very cool. And then the final one, or the final question that I was thinking through was platforms in terms of your day-to-day kind of efficient platforms. What's your favorite platform that you use to keep yourself together?
Oh. Well, I do a lot just with the Google, the whole Google system suite. So yeah, so that's been super helpful is the Google suite and then married up to ClickUp.
Oh, ClickUp. Very good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's awesome. Well, Corey, we very much appreciate your time and your expertise, and I can't wait to continue to follow and learn all of these excellent marketing tips from you, and look forward to this 3rd book that's coming out soon. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.